Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of my two Satoshis. It is April 30th, 2019. Shout out to my man J-Ron Janice for the song request. Back-to-back Vinny Paz song requests here, guys. Vinny Paz and Jedi Mind Tricks. I'm playing some Rip to Shreds. Hope you guys enjoy that one. Vinny Paz is spazzing on them. What's good, people? Welcome to another episode of my two Satoshis. Today, I've got some crazy news for you guys. I'm going to leave this one for last, but one of the topics we're going to talk about today is about this whole Craig Wright thing, man. I knew about this lawsuit. Hell, if I had stolen $10 billion, I would think I was Satoshi Nakamoto too. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to take a look at this lawsuit that Craig Wright has been going back and forth with the family members of a deceased individual. Essentially, the family is claiming that Craig Wright took the Bitcoins or never returned the Bitcoins that he held for this individual that passed away. This was many years ago. And I think that stash, I don't know, I haven't read this article, but from what I remember, the Bitcoin that Craig Wright had is worth billions of dollars now. And he's claiming that he doesn't have it or never had it or whatever the case may be. We're going to take a look at the article out of CCN regarding that. Another article we'll quickly look at. I saw this morning. Elon Musk asked the question, what should be developed on Ethereum? And that made Ethereum pop a little bit today. We'll take a look at what this tweet is all about. I actually responded to this tweet, and we'll take a look at that as well. But people are still delusional about the capabilities of Ethereum. It's crazy. I don't understand. But anyway, we'll take a look at this article just really quickly. That'll be the quick article of the day. And then finally, we're going to take a look at this document. I had to get a copy of it because it was taken down off of Medium. The account on Medium was suspended. The article was taken down. But it is about Populous, guys, and this is a pretty detailed account of what's going on over in the Populous camp. A lot of money is being moved around, and I'll show both sides of the story, but it's not looking good as far as why they decided to move funds and not report this to the community, the token holders. They're selling PPT, and they did not tell the token holders. So we'll take a look at this crazy situation with Populous. And I'd love to get your feedback on this, people. Not a good look if it's true, that's for sure. But first, let's take a look at that heat map for today. We are currently at, as far as market cap goes, $172 billion. We've got a green day today, guys. Bitcoin is up about 1%. Ethereum is up 2%. Was up even a little bit more than that earlier, again, off of the backs of the Elon Musk tweet. And then XRP is actually up a lot more than many of the other coins. And that is because they've landed a big partnership with a bank. I think HSBC or some subsidiary of HSBC. So that's why XRP is up hugely today. Bitcoin Cash is up too. I don't know what's going on there. Bitcoin Cash is up 5.5%. And Litecoin is up 8% today. So definitely a green day off of those lows. It looks like we may have bounced off that support area that I told you guys we needed to stay above. So it looks like that is in play. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at that. And that's exactly what happened. As you can see, we took a nice move up off that low there. So looks like we are not heading lower at this point. Let's see what happens. But it is technically looking kind of good there for us to move higher from these levels. So let's first go ahead and take a look at this Elon Musk situation where he tweeted about what should be built on Ethereum. Vitalik Buterin said you should come to our DevCon in October. He said what should be developed on Ethereum, and that just got the crypto Twitter sphere going crazy. Vitalik goes through a full list of items that he thinks that could be built on the Ethereum networks, and he mentions that DAOs are the most interesting if done properly. In fact, they could be revolutionary more than maybe even smart contracts or the blockchain itself, even though DAOs do need both. So I'll leave this article for you guys to kind of mull over if you want, and in that article you'll see a link to the thread that Vitalik Buterin and Elon Musk are in. My response, I actually responded to this, And I said here, Jack Diggity Squat, if Crypto Kitties was too much, what do you think Tesla Kitties would do? Let's see if they can scale first. And that's just pretty much it. I mean, there are so many other, and I did not shield my EOS, people, because you know that's what I'm thinking right off the bat. EOS is much more equipped to have something on, run with Tesla on their platform. But I didn't say that. I just said that we should see if Ethereum can scale, and that will be the determining factor, because at its current phase, it is not able to do much of anything, people. Let alone try to run something with Tesla on it. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Ethereum. I know they're trying to upgrade from proof of work to proof of stake and make things higher as far as throughput goes, but they've got a long way to go. They really do. And it's just crazy that people still think that Ethereum can be used in the real world when there are so many other blockchains that are much better at handling this. I mean, hell, you could even use Tomo chain. You could use, like this guy says down here, you could use Tron, EOS, of course, Quantum. You've got so many that are better suited for this type of application. Zero transaction fees and so on and so forth. So I thought that was interesting. You guys can check out that article if you would like. But the first article is about Craig Wright, and it says expert witness testifies against Craig Wright in a whopping $10 billion Satoshi Nakamoto lawsuit. It says here, an expert witness has filed an affidavit in the Clayman vs. Wright case, which alleges that Craig Wright stole billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from Dave Clayman either before or after he passed away. The Clayman estate is seeking damages in the neighborhood of $10 billion. Wright is defending the case with tenacity and recently submitted a probable fake email as evidence. So it says here, one thing for sure, the email was fake. In response to the email's filing and Wright's subsequent motion that it be stricken from evidence, an expert witness has filed an affidavit on behalf of the plaintiffs. Dr. Matthew Edmond, a cybersecurity researcher who previously helped the FBI acquire Silk Road's founder Ross Ulbricht Bitcoins, testifies that the emails were certifiably fake. Counsel for plaintiff also provided me with the file, which appears to be a copy of an email sent from the defender to himself, and that I understand was produced by the defendant in discovery. The content of the email is identical to the content of ECF number 144-1, including the PGP signature. The email was sent on April 16th of 2014 at about 10:22 p.m. according to the date in the email's header. If the time is adjusted to UTC plus 10, it shows that the defendant sent this email to himself on April 17th, 2014. It goes on to talk about David Clayman. He reportedly died in 2013, about 2 years before Craig Wright came on the scene claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto. The intent of filing the email is unclear. Reportedly, Wright wants to paint a picture of Clayman acting in bad faith, attempting to subvert his rights to shared assets. Even more damning than the timestamps on the emails and not mentioned by the expert witness is the fact that David Clayman allegedly spelled his name wrong. If we were to accept that this email was ever sent by Clayman at all, Bitcoin SV supporters have concocted a theory that David Clayman himself faked the email despite this obvious flaw in such an argument. That Wright allegedly forged this email so many years ago is evidence of a long thought out strategy. He had to have known that his assertion of being Satoshi Nakamoto would come with legal battles, including from the Clayman estate, who believe Wright hijacked more than 1 million Bitcoin. Next year, allegedly, a fund called the Tulip Trust is set to become available to Wright. Wow. So at this point, it is unclear whether Wright will be out of court or not, and whether he will have the right to such coins, supposing they exist. When the Tulip Trust matures, it may be court ordered directly to the Clayman estate. So this is interesting, people. I don't know, man. It's just so much surrounding Craig Wright. You just never know what to believe. I personally don't think he's Satoshi Nakamoto, but I would have this type of hubris and bravado and confidence as though I was Satoshi if I knew that I was getting $10 billion worth of Bitcoin in the next year or so. That would definitely make you seem like you were Satoshi Nakamoto for sure. So what do you guys think about this whole lawsuit going on? It's been going on for a few years, actually. It took a few years for the claimant estate to realize that their deceased family member actually had these Bitcoins. It was brought to their attention, I believe, by I don't know who, but they found out that he actually had these coins, and then that's when they started going after Craig Wright. So here we go. I don't know, man. This guy Craig Wright just seems real shifty. I tell you that much. What do you guys think? Do you think Craig Wright actually stole this money from now deceased David Klayman? I think so. My gut feeling is that he did. You guys let me know in the comments below. The second article, which is the main article here, people, is about Populous. Wow. So I first saw this article a couple of days ago. I bookmarked it. It was a Medium post, saved it, and said, okay, I'm going to cover this tomorrow. I read through it. It looked solid. You know, I went through some things in Telegram to just get a feel for what other people were saying. And man, this is crazy. So then yesterday I went to load the actual article up so I could review this with you guys. And lo and behold, the article was taken down. I think Populous or someone from their team reported the Medium post, and because the post was from a new account, they immediately took the post down. Here's a copy of it I was able to obtain, and it says here, we're going to read through this in detail. Populous World is selling its tokens, a call for transparency. It says here, Populous World is a blockchain-based invoice financing platform designed for peer-to-peer invoicing and financing on a global scale. Founded by Steve Nico Williams, the project raised over 10 million in USD dollars in their 2017 ICO. Within the past 30 days, nearly 500,000 PPTs has been sent to Binance from Populous controlled wallets. Below, I will highlight the movements from wallet to wallet and provide my analysis on why this is alarming. So before we go any further, I do want to just read from the individual I was able to gather this document from. They were able to get this to me. I won't disclose his name or anything, but it says here, just a little bit of backdrop. He said, of note, Nico Williams confirmed in Slack's channel, not until directly asked, that the team is selling the tokens. So he is selling the tokens, people. This is a fact. This was stated by Steven Nico, and he said he would not say who or why, and would not respond at all to the article, which is very telling if you ask me. The person says he must agree with what was said. He also basically said the team can do whatever they want with their tokens, which is true. I'm not gonna lie. They can do whatever they want with the tokens. Now, is it from a morality standpoint, is that right? You guys have to be the judge of that. The person says such a terrible way to treat token holders when Populous has yet to deliver a fully functional platform. Nico's confirmation that the selling was a person on the team or the team in general confirms the basis of the article. Covert sales over the last 30 days trying to cover it up. He says that it is sickening what Nico has put token holders through, and he must be exposed so he doesn't continue this. Constant lies and deception, and he tried to get away with this. So that's the whole thing that I wanted to make sure we covered on this particular topic, was that he was not going to, or the team was not going to actually tell anybody about this if they hadn't been exposed. So back to the article, it says here on January 9, 2019, 2 million PPTs were moved from Steven Nico's wallet to this address. And then it says on March 18th, you guys can kind of go through this. I'll leave a link so you can check this out for yourselves. But yeah, this is crazy. It just kind of goes through all of the different transactions of PPTs. On April 3rd, which is this month, 412,000 PPTs are sent to 4 separate wallets, roughly 1.65 million. And then after much maneuvering of tokens, each of the 4 wallets eventually sends various amounts of tokens to the 2 main wallets in question. In total, nearly 500K of PPTs has been sent from the 2 wallets to Binance over the past 30 days. These aren't chunk sell-offs. These are gradual pulls of less than 10,000 PPTs at a time in a very systematic fashion, he says. Why does this alarm me? Yesterday on April 27th, this issue was raised in the members-only Slack room as questions began to come in about the wallet movements. An incredible ramp up in the offloading of PPT began to take place. In total, 55,000 PPTs were sent off to Binance on this day. When the original 2 million was moved from the CEO's wallet, it was naturally questioned. The response was that these were for the team and that they can do as they wish with them. Nobody questioned this, as that seemed plausible at the time. It goes on to say here, it has become apparent that this is not the case for two reasons. Each wallet that the 2 million PPT breaks down into eventually comes into contact with one of the two Binance offloading wallets mentioned above. In fact, this one has direct ties with Nico's wallet based on 45,000 PPT transactions that took place over 170 days ago. As seen here, the XAUP bounties were paid out from the same wallets that the 2 million PPTs were sent to. This completely negates the response from the CEO that the wallets were set aside for team member payouts. Given the recent Slack updates about how close things are to firing on all cylinders, this logically seems like the worst time to sell large amounts of tokens. If things really are close to being ready, why is the team selling now, he asks. If their word is true, then it makes absolutely no sense to sell now unless there are financial issues we aren't privy to. Goes on to say here, Populous up to no good, ? It's way too early to make any such claims, but the covert and methodical transfer of tokens to several wallets in small amounts on daily basis, followed by the eventual sending to Binance, is shady at best. Repeatedly, investors have been told that Populous has zero financial issues and that they could make many more platforms should they want to. Then why are they selling? Do they need the money, he's asking. Token holders have been left more or less completely in the dark amidst major platform changes that have taken place these last 2 quarters. Some highlights of the past 3 months. It says an unreasonably high number of invoices have gone overdue on their payments. Less than a handful of the new invoices have hit the platform, 0 of which have come from new companies. A year after its release, the platform is still riddled with bugs, broken links, and buckles under the stress of high traffic. Golden tokens, which were supposed to be the savior for the liquidity pool, have been a bust, with approximately only 1 dozen being sold. The team has completely abandoned this concept after assuring the community they had investors lined up. Now there is something new in quotations that we once again have zero details about. Another point, the liquidity pool has been thrown out of the window for some black box concept that will allow for infinite scalability. Details provided to the community, none. More than 1.5 years after beginning operations, minimum interest rates were announced to be cut all the way down to 1.5%. And then this gold token thing, bounty, the payouts were weeks late and seemingly only paid once pressure was applied within Slack. The funding principles of the Populous platform have been uprooted. The team continues to pivot over and over again without providing reason or explanation. The promises of soon and we are building the greatest platform ever flow in monthly to rifle up the loyal community members. With no invoices, rates being cut, the liquidity pool being uprooted, and now over $1 million worth of PPTs being moved to Binance, and in a very strange fashion, it is time for the Populous team to become more transparent about their activities. And then in summary, it says that these loyal community members are a large portion of what helped get this project off of the ground during the ICO raise. With both the CEO and the Secretary of Populous having checkered pasts, one starts to worry when the team goes dark and begins moving tokens when the price is already extremely low without providing reasoning. We have been told soon, and this next update is the one for way too long. It is time to deliver not just a product, but honestly, show us you have what it takes to be a leader and someone who looks out for those who help put you in such a position. This is a call for transparency regarding both the recent PPT movements to Binance as well as the final end of year financial accounts that were promised to us in Slack 20 days ago. This is a very well written article. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They're not bashing Populous. They're really asking very important questions. I commend the guy who wrote this. Very detailed, and looks like he definitely did his research. Wow, what do you guys think about this? Like, I personally, what I find, and just I peek into these projects, Telegram rooms all the time, just kind of looking to see what's going on. What I find is that people have become so emotionally attached to many of these projects that they stop looking at the evidence. They no longer use rational thinking. It's all irrational behavior. Like Greenspan says, it's irrational exuberance all over the place. And so people hold on, hoping, and they're not using critical thinking that could have been done months and months and even maybe years ago to say, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to keep going. Or if you're going to hold the tokens, just hold them and forget about them. But you got a lot of people in there heavily invested. It's way too early in this blockchain industry to say one project is going to be the end all be all. That's like, I always use the analogy of, if you saw people today who are Netscape hodlers, you would think they are just insanely retarded. And that's the same thing with many of these companies. Like, it's so early in the game, you can't say that your project is the one. You can say that this project at this moment is ahead of the game. Like I feel with EOS, it definitely is. It's got the highest, throughput, transaction, and activity on the blockchain. But that's right now. I can't guarantee you that EOS is going to be the killer decentralized operating system of the future. But right now, I feel like it is. If things change, my opinion is going to change. And I will move to another project if I feel that there's another technology that has the capability, not only better, but actually has the ability to hit critical mass and take market shares. And it's not about who is better. It's really about what team can take market share, what community can bring in the most developers and content creators and all of that onto the blockchain. That's what it's about. So it's just crazy seeing, this happen. What do you guys think? I do have a response that I saw in the Telegram room. This guy, Dodie Day, and this is a response to the article, but I'll let you guys be the judge of this. He says, I wrote this in another TG channel, wanted to share it here as well. He said, I read the article. The $2 million from the team's wallet was for team payouts after being locked up. I will have to say that the guy said that couldn't be the case because the money all ended up back to where Nico's wallet was. But let's just go ahead and finish reading this. Some of it could have gone to disgruntled former employees. A portion of it did go to Binance. I don't know where he's getting this could have gone to disgruntled employees. Does he know something, or is he just coming up with a hypothetical situation? A portion of it did go to Binance. He said zero has left Nico's personal wallet. Because the PPT price chart on Binance looks similar to almost every other altcoin, I'm led to believe sending to Binance was more likely to hide the trail if this is what happens when teams payouts are given after lockup periods end. I do worry for a whole lot of crypto projects out there. I don't think you need to hide the trail of paying out honest bounties. But anyway, a few other odd points from the article. XAU bounty payments were less than a week late. It was late because the anticipated payout date fell right on Easter's weekend. 190,000 in invoices were sold just last week without any software hiccups. The 1.5% interest rate was to accommodate super low risk invoice sellers. Last week's invoices were at 4.5%, a very nice return for invoice buyers. And I would add, Debitum and Hive would love to know more about Populous's LP/liquidity pool. I agree this is one secret that should not be shared. So what do you guys think based on that response that I found in the Telegram room versus what this article is talking about? This is interesting. This is definitely interesting, and I would like to know what you guys feel about this. Again, I see so many, just not Populous. The failure rate of any ICO project is ultra high. I'm talking about probably 98, north of 95, 98%. Because it's a new industry, they're going to run into legal issues, regulatory issues. It's just so much. And so to think that your project is just the one and it will just surpass everything and just become like this golden child unicorn type of project, to me it's just very illogical, you know. So you guys, again, let me know your thoughts about this, and I would definitely like to have that conversation with you guys, because Father Time is the one thing that will always show, improve, and weed out the good projects versus the ones that aren't. When you first start out, you can promise a whole bunch, but as time goes by, you have to show improve at some point. A lot of projects, not just Populous, a lot of projects are behind. A lot of projects have fallen off. A lot of projects have just shut down because they've run into roadblocks. PPP, you know, PayPal is another one, like hit roadblocks in Canada. So, you know, there's no promise here, guys. And I definitely wanted to just highlight that article because I thought it was a good one, a well-written one. I got a lot of flack from the Populous community last year for covering something that wasn't positive and help their bags. I don't really care. Like, I'm going to cover all sides of the story. I gave you a response that tried to answer a couple of those. It looks like they did answer or have a good rebuttal about the low interest rates being back up to 4.5%, and the bounty programs only being a week late. So you guys be the judge. I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. I'm just here to drop the facts. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Again, shout out to my man J-Ron Janice for that song request. Vinny Pass 2 days in a row. That's my 2 Satoshis for April 30th, 2019. Holla!